Hey everybody, and welcome to another video. Now, this video right here, I believe, is going to be one of the most informative videos that you can find here on YouTube or online of the Old Town ePDL 132. In the previous video that I posted, I walked through this kayak from bow to stern, showing the ins and outs, all of the features that this kayak has to offer, but what I didn't do was take it on the water, and that's what this video is for. I really do believe that you can't give sound advice when it comes to different kayaks on the market unless you are actually in the kayak, unless you get on the water and put in some work. You can't just throw out specs and kind of repeat what the manufacturer says. And so the goal of this video is to get on the water, give you guys my real opinion, the good, the bad, the pros, the cons, and trust me, I do list and go over some of my drawbacks when it comes to this kayak. So I hope you guys enjoy. And if you're looking to purchase this kayak, you definitely want to watch this entire video. So here we go. We're on the water. We're set up. We've got the drive in. It's deployed. And so right now we have a few different options to use this guy. We can go straight manual mode, which, man, I gotta tell you, this is much different than what I'm used to, which is pushing a drive. This is a bicycle right here. But we're just gonna go straight manual mode here. And guys, this is raw footage. I'm not using my microphones today. I'm just out on the kayak with my action hat, putting in some work, having some fun, and whatever happens, happens. I'm not into a big production today. So we've got the rudder deployed. We pulled it with this lever right here. And right now we're in straight manual mode. Well, first, I almost feel like you can definitely feel, you know, the motor and like the gears in there a little bit, which I don't think is necessarily slowing me down too much. I do feel different muscle groups being used because, again, I'm used to pushing. And right now I feel like, one, I'm leaned back, but I'm having to use a little bit more power on the down like that to really get a full rotation. But I think as I get used to using this, I'll find the most efficient way to pedal this thing. Honestly, I feel like I might be using a little bit more energy, just a little bit, than I do when I'm pushing like this on the Hobie drive. So what I mean by that is here I have two fin style drives. Now this is a Hobie drive. You've seen these everywhere. And this is another fin style drive right here, which is kind of like the Gen 1 Hobie drive. So your feet would go here on a normal, you know, your traditional style drive. And as you're pushing it, the fins are moving just like that. So you can see, like, even if I just push it a little bit, these fins are gonna move quite a distance right there. So just a little bit. If you're doing full range, of course, you're really getting, you know, a lot of forward movement and propulsion on your kayak. Now with the bicycle style drive like the one I'm on now, you really have to get that full rotation, that full range of motion. Your feet really have to do that full turn for that prop to move. You can't kind of like just bounce it back and forth. So if you're used to this style drive and you can be lazy with it, I mean, you can just do half pumps just like this and still be going pretty quick. With a drive style like this with the prop, you really have to get that full rotation in. Okay, back to the video. So we're going, and then when I want to hit the brakes and go backwards, this definitely takes a good amount of effort to be able to go backwards like this. But when you're done and you are trying to go in reverse, let's just go backwards here. Yeah, I mean, we're accomplishing the mission of instant reverse, which is nice. So if you're up against the mangroves and you're pulling in some monster redfish or monster snook and you need to hit that reverse, you can do it. Let's go ahead and hit some assisted. So this has 5 levels. Right now I'm on level 1. And once you start to pedal, like I just heard it, it'll start to click in a little bit. And right now I have a little bit of assist going on, and you can tell because this little, I don't know if you can see it, you probably can't, but it's spinning. And that indicates that we are in fact using assist mode, which, just like on an e-bike, if you've ever ridden an e-bike, I own 2 e-bikes. Level 1, you barely feel it. I mean, for me on my e-bike, I have to go straight to like level 3 because on level 1, level 2, I'm like, man, I'm putting in the same amount of effort that I was putting in before. So we're gonna go ahead and bump it up to 2 and see if we don't feel a difference almost immediately. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's still effort. You're not getting away with anything right here on level 2. You're definitely not like, oh my gosh, I can really feel this. Let's go ahead and move it to level 4. We're just gonna skip right past 3. Okay, level 4, you can definitely feel like it's putting in that work. But the thing is once you stop, it stops. Totally cuts out. Let's go ahead and go to level 5. Level 5 is obviously gonna be the one. Yeah, level 5, it feels like, oh, we're moving. I feel like I almost can't keep up with how fast the motor's spinning. So rather than trying to race the motor, I'm just gonna try and pedal at my own pace here and see if it shuts off. Yeah, so if I try and pedal at like a slower pace, so this is like level 5, right? We're going, but if I slow down my rotation, right here it's going, but if I slow it down even more, oh, we're still going. Oh, we're still going. So all you gotta do is give it a little bit of rotation and it's gonna go. Okay, but if we stop, it stops. Again, if we're at speed here, if we reverse, this thing should shut off. Yeah, there it goes, it shut off, just like that. All right, we are gonna go full cruise control mode, which is that button. We're gonna go level 1. You gotta give it a little bit of power until you see that propeller turning on the screen. We got some bait jumping right here. Man, I should be fishing. So, okay, it's turning, so I should be able to stop. And yeah, we're moving here. Of course, we're moving very slow. But let's do this. Let's just bump it straight to 5. And let's just rock. Let's get it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're booking it. Let's go. I like it. We're cruising through here, man. No effort. And by the way, a motor like this is a lot more incognito. Like if you're trying to be incognito for whatever reason and not show that you got like a big motor on your kayak, yeah, I mean, this built-in motor is pretty awesome. It looks just like a regular pedal drive. I like it. Of course, I'm spoiled, you know. I've had Bixby's on my kayaks. I'm not new to having a motor on my kayak. It's just kind of nice that it's like all in one little package here. I'm pulling up the speedometer here, and it says we are going 4 miles per hour. So if we drop it down to speed 1, drop down all the way to 2 miles per hour, bump it up. Let's see what it's going on 3. On level number 3, 2 miles per hour. I think we're gonna stay at 2 miles per hour, nice and steady. Bump it up to 5. Yep, we're at 4 miles per hour. There we go. I want to pause this video real quick and say thank you so much to the people that help make this channel possible, who make it so I can get you guys the most and the best relevant information possible when it comes to kayak fishing. Canoe Country Outfitters in Tampa Bay, Florida made it so that I can get on the water and put in some time in this Old Town ePDL. Now, they are located off 54th Avenue. If you guys are familiar with the Tampa Bay area, that's super central in this town. They've been a family-owned business in this area since I was a kid. They carry everything, and I'm talking about everything. They carry all types of kayaks, all types of canoes, everything that you need to get rigged up and have a great time on the water. When it comes to kayaks, they've got new canoes and old towns, bona fides, and so much more. And every once in a while, they can even hook you up with something that's been used, that's a great kayak that they've looked over and gone through and can vouch for, and they can hook you guys up and make sure that you are ready to go and have everything that you need to have a successful day on the water. You guys know that I'm really invested in supporting local dealers when it comes to Yak Tribe, our Yak Tribe meetups, myself personally. So guys, make sure you check them out. And anytime I do post a video, there's usually somebody, 1 or 2 people that are like, man, I do love that. That's where I bought my kayak. They're great people down there. So if you're in the area, or you might not be in the area, but you're willing to travel, check out Canoe Country Outfitters in Tampa Bay, Florida. They'll take care of you guys. Let's see if we can't catch our first fish in this kayak. We're gonna make a quick cast over here. One thing I'm not used to is only having rudder controls on one side. It would be nice to have rudder controls on both sides, but hey, You can't always get what you want. Okay, there's something going on right here. I don't know what it is, but something. Oh. Oh, we had something. Looks like there's a school of something. I think it's ladyfish. Probably for sure ladyfish. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ladyfish. Oh! Did you guys see that? What in the world? Hey, buddy. Oh, it's a jack. Nice. Okay, so we caught our first fish in the Old Town. We got ourselves a lady. Now, don't spit the hook. Come here. Get your butt in here, boy. Or girl, I should say. Ah! Oh, did you guys see that? It's hooked in my pants. Ouch. That kind of hooked my leg a little bit. Not gonna lie. There goes that nice pair of pants. Ah! Whenever I'm on a new kayak, it's just a crazy experience. I'm not used to the positioning. I'm not used to the angles. But, oh well. Jeez. Alright, let's put this thing to work. So, reverse out of the mangroves. I'll be honest, the reverse isn't like butter smooth, you know. It works, but you can feel it, man. You can definitely feel it. But I'm not complaining, okay? I'm not complaining because what I just did there was pretty easy. I didn't have to pull a cord. You know, we're all grown men here. Maybe woman, maybe you're a teenager. But hey, that's part of the game, man. You get a little tired. You got to put in some work, man. It can't just be 100% easy. So I'm definitely not complaining about the reverse, but I'm just saying, compared to going forward, you can definitely feel it takes a little bit more effort. But again, that was easy to do, so I'm not too mad at it at all. I hear thunderstorms. All right, guys, well, forgive me for getting distracted and fishing, but honestly, and I don't want to throw shade at anybody. That's not my style. That's not what I like to do. I don't think that's cool. So I'm not throwing shade or trying to, you know, talk down about anybody, of course. But I think a lot of times when it comes to product reviews, demos, you know, walkthroughs, all this type of stuff, there's a lot of people who are just looking at the product, but they're not getting out there and they're not using it. You know, they're covering products because that gets you really good views, but you know, I'm not in this to get views. I'm in this because I want to know what's up with these kayaks. I want to get you guys and Yak Tribe the information that you're searching for, you know. So when it comes to reviewing kayaks and boats and accessories, I don't think it does anybody justice, the companies, the products, or you guys justice, just to unbox it, look at it, and just kind of repeat specs. I think you need to get on the water, use the stuff, and then say something about it. So again, that's going to be my complete excuse for getting distracted and fishing. I think actually using it and trying to figure out where to place stuff and how it works and if I like it, I think that's the best way to actually review something and yeah, and to give your opinion of it. So just one more interruption for you guys. Hey, I want to say thank you to everyone who's subscribed to my YouTube channel. I've been putting out YouTube videos for, man, almost 10 years now, and I'm so grateful for you guys who watch, so thankful for the growth. As I dig into my analytics on this channel, because I really want to be intentional about the type of content I'm putting out and continue to do my best to put content out, I've noticed that almost 98% of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel. Now, I will never beg for subscribers. Oh, please subscribe, please. I'll never do that. If you guys like this channel, if you guys like the content, if you feel like the information is valuable, I just ask, hey, will you consider subscribing, and let's drive that number up. All right, guys, back to the video. So far, I've been using this thing in manual mode. I can tell you this, it's pretty quick. Let me break out the speedometer again, and I'm just gonna go on manual mode, and I'm just gonna pedal it. Like if I'm trying to get it, man, I'm trying to go, I'm trying to pedal, I'm really trying to get there quick. I'm at 4 miles per hour. So I'm at the same speed as cruise control set at 5. Okay, so if I'm just leisurely here, I'm just trying to, you know, not exert too much energy and just pedal into the wind, which right now, you might even hear with this audio quality, it's actually a little windy right now. So just regular effort here, not trying to do anything crazy or fancy or be super fast, just kind of move it along. We're sitting here at 3 miles per hour, anywhere between 3 and 3.5 miles per hour, but yeah, it's gonna read 3. Pedal drive kayaks without a motor, this thing is doing pretty good. Into the current, into the wind, I'm pretty happy with the speed that I'm getting. So rudder control, turn to the left, it turns pretty quick. I'll tell you, with the Vibe Shearwater, the Vibe Shearwater can tend to turn a little slower. So at speed, pedaling here and trying to cut it. So if we cut it, sorry, I stopped pedaling. If we cut it, boom, we've already turned. At speed, cut it to the left, we've already turned. So I like that. This thing does turn on a dime. I'm happy with it. If I stop pedaling, let me go ahead and give it a little reverse so we stop the motion here. We just want to see how this thing drifts. While we're at it, we might as well throw a little top water. I want to see how this thing moves in the wind, in the water, while I'm taking a break fishing. If it stays pretty straight on, I'll be really happy with that, because the way I fish, I like to keep my kayak pointed this way. This kayak doesn't have a skeg. My Hobie does have a skeg, and when you drop that skeg, especially because of the shape of the hole and everything, when you drop it and the wind's pushing you, it keeps you pretty parallel with the mangrove or the shoreline, whatever you're fishing. If you don't drop that skeg, you get pushed around like crazy. So right now, I can tell eventually with this wind, I am gonna get pushed, and I am gonna get pushed and be facing the mangroves, not with the mangroves. So, you know, to correct that, of course, you would just give it, you would turn it to the right and just give it about 2 pedals and you're back on track. So this is how I like to personally fish it. Fish mangrove lines or any shoreline, I like to get max amount of time in the strike zone. So a lot of people will kind of face it this way. That's fine, because they want to, you know, pull the fish out of the mangroves. I totally get it, but I've somewhat developed a bad habit over the years of fishing parallel, and yeah, I get wrecked sometimes with the fish going into the mangroves, but you know, it's okay. This is the way I enjoy fishing. I feel like I get a higher hookup ratio. This, by the way, this isn't like this isn't prime fishing area. I'm just seeing how this kayak operates. It drifts just fine, you know, nothing crazy. We're not going backwards, we're not going in circles, so that's okay. Happy with it. It's not perfect. There's no skeg on here to make it almost perfect, but no problem. Just a few pedals, you're back on track. All right, while we're here, let's go ahead and see how this big boy paddles. So we got the rudder in the middle. I know you guys are awesome. You already know how to do this. And paddling seems like a very normal and easy thing to do. But one person a long time ago helped me out on how to actually paddle. And it was like this. For the longest time, I was like pulling, you know, just trying to use my muscles and just paddling a kayak. Which, by the way, we should have this drive up if we're gonna do this. If we're gonna do a paddle test. There we go. So I would just kind of muscle this thing, you know, like, but here's what I learned a while ago that's really helped me. What you want to do is you want to push and use this hand as basically a pivot. So you want to push like that. We're pushing through the water, which, you know, when this person was going to teach me this, I was like, what do you mean? You think I don't know how to paddle? It's like the easiest thing in the world. You just paddle like this, you just do it. And yeah, great tip. Pushing it through the water. So how does this thing paddle? Let's find out. Boom. Honestly, it's not that bad. It's not the worst. To be quite honest with you guys. And I would tell you, I'm not afraid to tell anybody anything. This thing does not paddle that bad. By the way, there's a snook trying to smack this bird every time. That's crazy. This drive's kind of in my way, which, by the way, with this drive like this, it does get in my way from being able to really skip a lure. That's one thing I don't like. One thing I like about the Hobie drive is that I can completely remove it. This thing's a little more than 30 pounds, so if I want to move this thing, I got to lift it up, put it in the back. So if I'm in super skinny, shallow water and I want to be skipping my baits with this thing up, it's not necessarily the easiest right up front. So you got to work around it. You got to develop new angles, but you'll get it. You'll get it, just like I just got it. Yeah, guys, if you're in skinny water and you have to paddle this thing, it's not that bad. It's really not. For a wide kayak, it's not that bad. The only thing I'm noticing here is you really do get a lot of water sloshing down. So if you have gear here, you're gonna wanna definitely rinse it down if you're in salt water. I've been in worse. The Hobie PA is an absolute barge to paddle. And luckily, over the 10 something years I was using the Hobie, I rarely ever had to paddle. You know, because if I was in skinny water, I'm push pulling. I'm looking for fish. I'm not really paddling it. So push pulling is a whole different beast, and muscle groups and all that stuff, and skill set than paddling is. But yeah, man, paddling this thing, not too bad. It's not the slowest one out there. I tell you what, if I had to paddle this thing though for 5 miles, sorry, if I had to paddle this thing for 2 miles, yeah, I'd be toast. So it's not a paddle craft, that's for sure. You're not gonna sit here and be like, you know what? I don't want to bring my drive today. I think I'm just gonna go for a nice paddle in this kayak. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be the move. I think you're gonna want to bring the pedal drive. But just moving around and doing your thing, yeah, it's not that bad, guys. So let's talk about my experience so far in this kayak. I haven't caught a monster, okay? No monster fish, just that ladyfish, but I've been messing around, going from point A, point B, doing a little paddling, doing a little fishing, a little pedaling. Of course, we've got a storm. I don't know if you can see this. We've got a storm, so I want to be able to finish this video before I get, you know, wrecked by this lightning and all of this thunder. So, okay, some things that I like about this kayak. I like that it's quick. This thing, especially under cruise control, this thing is pretty quick. I mean, you feel like you're going fast, you're really moving through the water. So I'm happy with the speed, all right? I also like the deep deck. So this deep kind of, you know, it's pretty deep. I don't know how else to explain it other than you really feel safe in this kayak. You feel safe, you feel, you know, like you're gonna be dry. Of course, as long as the drive is in, you feel like you're gonna be dry. I really like that. I feel like I'm high off the water. I don't feel like I'm really close or I'm gonna get, you know, too wet or fall in. I feel really stable on this kayak. I do like that it does paddle pretty well for the size kayak that this is, especially with all the kayaks that have been coming out. They're so large and they're so big, right? Some things that, again, I wish that were maybe improved upon, you know, in the future, or I wish, you know, this kayak had it already. I wish these tracks, you know, I want more tracks on this boat, up here, over here, along the sides, along the back. I would really like to see more tracks on this kayak pre-installed to really make this feel more of a premium, you know, kayak. Of course, you know, you feel like it's premium with this, you know, electric pedal drive, but if you were to take this pedal drive away and you're left with just this hole, I think there's some areas for improvement. Like, I wish that there were dual rudder controls. I wish there was a rudder control on this side, because not everybody wants to just operate on the left side. So, you know, if you're somebody who's never had a, you know, a steering with your hand controlled rudder, maybe you've always used your feet, this is definitely going to be an upgrade. But if you are used to a platform that has, you know, rudder controls on either side, then this definitely takes some getting used to, and I definitely prefer rudder controls on both sides. Of course, that's going to come with more maintenance. You know, you're going to have to maintain both of those lines, but to me, it's worth it. I like that. And yeah, that's where I'm at when it comes to the rudders. You can see the storm behind me. It's kind of, man, I don't know how. I mean, I'm not even going to say it, but I'm basically in the middle of this thing. And thank the Lord that I'm not getting absolutely obliterated. It's behind me, it's on the side, but it's not in this little circle that I'm in, which is awesome. So, okay. A few other improvements. This particular seat, I wish it was a little bit higher of a back. I wish I had a higher back on it. It's a comfy seat, but you kind of feel like the middle of your back is being cut up. So it's a good seat, but it's not the best seat that I've ever been on, okay? It's a good seat, but it's not the best seat. You can fix that with some simple back pads on this seat, no problem. I just wish I had a little bit of a higher back on this thing. One thing I do like about this seat is how easy it is to scooch forward and scooch back. All you have to do is pull this pin right here on either side, and you literally just scooch on up. It's so easy, it's so nice. I really do enjoy and like that feature. One thing that I'm having to adjust to, and of course any new kayak you're on, you're gonna have to adjust to it, but I'm really used to the pushing motion of a pedal drive kayak. This is like a bicycle motion, right? So you are pushing your feet like this, you're moving your feet like that. And so with that, you're gonna have to have that full range, which means you're gonna have to have your deck clear. I mean, completely clear. I'm used to kind of having rods, you know, staged and stacked, you know, in the, you know, where my feet go, because I'm only pushing like this much, right? But for this, you know, you're gonna want your deck pretty clear. You're gonna want to keep the rods in the back. You're gonna want to keep them kind of pushed under the seat or cleared out if you can, because your heels are gonna hit your fishing rods if you keep your fishing rods. Let me turn this around and show you what I mean. What I mean is, like, you can see how the rods are now, and I have to be pretty careful to not let my feet come up and hit the rods. So yeah, that's gonna be some adjustment that I have to get used to on this particular vessel. That's not anything that can't be overcome. That just comes to personal preference and how you like to fish, how you like to organize your kayak. So you might as well go ahead and throw these rods in the rod holders or in your crate, wherever you got your rods staged up. Keeping your rods kind of on the deck, they're gonna get in the way with that bicycle type of motion that we got going on. Now, I didn't get to record this part because I was doing it pretty quickly, but I wanna talk to you guys about poling. So poling is really important to me because I like to sight fish. I like to see the fish and cast. Funny enough, I left my actual good fishing glasses on my other kayak, so these glasses were in my emergency kit. So another pro tip for you guys, if you have a safety kit on your kayak, go get a $10, $15 pair of polarized sunglasses and throw them in that safety kit, because that day you forget your sunglasses. I mean, I forgot mine today. I was like, oh, thank God I have them in my safety kit. Now, these are just some cheap ones. Nothing special about them, but they keep the sun out of your eyes. Anyways, back to poling around. I love sight fishing. I love poling around. So being able to push a kayak through the water is very important to me. This kayak does pull pretty well. It tracks pretty well. It pulls pretty well. I will say this. One thing about it is this has a really big opening for the drive to go in to the kayak, or yes, yeah, I had that right, for the drive to go in to the kayak hole. Now, because of that, when you're poling around and you lift the drive up out of the kayak, so you're not having that extra, you know, force weigh you down in the water or slow you down, any extra drag, you don't need any of that. So you pull your drive out, then you start pulling around. One drawback is a lot of water gets onto the deck. I mean, a lot of water. When you're pushing and you're pushing at a good speed, you get water in this deck. And of course, there's scuppers here on this kayak, so the water can bail out of the kayak. But I mean, your feet get wet, you get soaked, all the water pushes back up into the kayak. Not all kayaks are like that, but this particular one is. When the drive is out of the kayak and you're poling around, a lot of water does get pushed onto the deck. So just keep that in mind, because if I turn this around, you'll notice that these little cubbies here are almost flush with the deck. So when water comes rushing in, it wets all of this stuff in here. So that's why I was saying, if you've got accessories in those little cubbies, you're gonna wanna wash them out if you're in salt water, because it's gonna get drenched with salt water. But again, you know, if this is just me explaining all the ins and outs of the kayak, there's always ways to overcome this. There's always ways to fix this, and that would be, don't put, you know, things that you're not willing to get wet in the cubby, and then you'll be fine. So put your waterproof Plano boxes there, put your water bottle there, that's fine. Maybe don't put your pliers there, don't put your knife there, and you'll be just fine with it. Another drawback that I find in this kayak is, one, it's a love-hate relationship, right? So this is my first time on this kayak, so take it for what it is. You know, take it for a very inexperienced angler on this particular boat using it. I don't have a lot of time in this kayak, but I can tell you that there's gonna come times where you wanna pull your drive out, okay? Other kayaks with the standard drive, you know, fin style drives, which a lot of kayaks have these days, you can just pull those fins out. They weigh, you know, 15 pounds, 10 pounds, I don't know, probably 10 pounds. You pull them out, you throw them in the back of your kayak, no big deal. This particular vessel here, you lift it up, right? And you rest it on the deck, you know, here in the hull of the kayak, and there's no moving it. I mean, you could pick it up and put it behind you. So if you're a fly fisherman, you might want to do that. You might want to pick this thing up, put it in the back, you know, the tank well in the back of the kayak, and yeah, have a clear deck that way. But this thing's heavy and it's a beast, and it's definitely in your way. So you're not walking all over this deck like you might be other pedal drive kayaks that have the fin style drive. I don't necessarily find that to be the biggest problem, even though I do like pulling out my drive, throwing it in the back, because even with this drive still on the deck, you can still stand in it. You still have, you know, plenty of room to mess around and do what you need to do. Just understand that that drive, for the most part, for most people, is going to stay right where it is, and that's right here on the deck. So you're gonna have to work around that, man. All these extra attachments hanging off of it and whatever, you're gonna have to deal with that, and you're gonna have to come up with your process on how you like to fish on this kayak. All in all, I'm having fun with this kayak. Again, this is my first time using it and fishing out of it. Of course, we didn't catch anything worth, you know, bragging about. A little jack and a little ladyfish. I literally just launched this in my backyard, went out just to be able to ride around on it, get a feel for it, see if I like, you know, how I have it rigged out currently. This wasn't like a sleigh fest mission, or else I wouldn't be heading in right now, right? But all in all, it's a fun kayak. I mean, if this was my only kayak, I'd be happy with it. All of the things that I say, you know, this could be improved upon. Again, we're kayak fishermen, we love DIY, we love to fix problems, so none of that stuff can't be overcome. I mean, if this rail mount thing is like such a big deal to me, I literally can just take my router and finish routing this little line through. That's not a big deal like whatsoever. That would just be like a complaint, right? If it comes to the seat, and you know, I'm saying, oh, I wish the seat was a little bit higher, you can fix that as well. It's a solid boat, and we all know it. I think it's going to be a great platform if you decide to purchase it. I just think that in any new kayak that you purchase, you're going to have to develop your own system on how you fish, how you like to fish, and how you like to put things. But that is the fun and the joy of kayak fishing. But I hope you guys appreciate this unfiltered just review and walkthrough of this boat, of it on the water. I hope to have some more videos soon where I actually take this kayak to a good fishing spot, not just here in my backyard, and actually get on some fish. But I can tell you, it's gonna fish just fine. If this is the only video you watch of this kayak, let me tell you right now, it's a good kayak. I like it so far. I'm gonna put in some more work and see how well this motor does over time. The battery life on this thing, which is something that you might be wondering, I've used this so far today. I've done probably about 1.5 miles on full cruise control. The rest mile I probably put in today was on assisted power, and it was just manual mode. And we've only used 25% of the battery. So there's still 75% of this battery left. I think that's pretty good. So I think you could get a 7-8 mile day out of this one battery on cruise control, and you'd probably be fine. You know, I'm not sure. Don't take that as a fact, okay? I haven't done it before. So I think you can for sure get at full cruise control level 5, you'd probably for sure get 5 to 6 miles on that thing, maybe 5, maybe pushing 6. But I'll have to do a whole nother video where that's all I do is just run this battery and do it. But I think you can definitely put in some mileage on the water with just this one battery, and you'll even use less of the battery if you just use assist mode. Anyways, guys, I've got to get in. There's lightning happening right over here. I've got to get a move on it. I'm gonna push pull around because there's a sandbar up here. And guys, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll catch you on the next video. Come on. Oh, there we go. Hey. There we go. Oh, there we go. There's the second one. All right, bud.